Agent Accountant General's Department, service with excellence, touching the life of every Jamaican. This Saturday, December 11th, we'll be discussing the sacking of Theodore Tapper Whitmore as Reggae Boys head coach. Was it justified? Does it affect his legacy? And how will the team react going forward? We'll also highlight some of the major football talking points for 2021. Sports Talk, Saturdays from 1 to 2 p.m. with me, Daniel Blake, right here on the family station, Love 101. Hello and welcome to Sports Talk. Today, December 11. My name is Daniel Blake. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're listening on the radio, if you're listening on the Love FM app, if you're listening on your browser, and if you are tuned in on Facebook and YouTube, thank you so much for joining me this week. Coming up, we do have an interesting show. Theodore Tapper Whitmore is now out as Reggae Boys head coach. I'll be joined by two very good sports journalists, Damian Gordon and Brian Pitter. We'll discuss everything around that. Firstly, though, I would like to tell you that Sports Talk is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, Country Above Self, and Accountant General's Department, service with excellence, touching the life of every Jamaican. Remember, you can listen to the show on the Love 101 FM app, so you can download that in the Google Play or Apple Store. Listen on your browser, love101.org. That's love101.org. And you can watch me live on Facebook and YouTube on Love 101 FM's official page. Hello, everybody in the virtual world. And remember, you can interact with me during the show, so please listen to the numbers. So if you want to call, it's 876-968-8327. So that's 876-968-8327 or 876-968-8328. 968-8328. And if you want to WhatsApp, you can't bother call or anything like that. 876-997-3125. That's 997-3125. And you can leave your comments on YouTube and on Twitter. YouTube and Twitter. YouTube and Facebook. So leave it in the comment section and I will read it there. Roshane, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing well, and I know that you're doing well as well, because both of us are doing well. Because both
I don't know how you speaking for me, suppose I'm not doing well.
Well, Arsenal won this morning, and I know you're an Arsenal fan, so
but that you don't know what's happening in my life apart from Arsenal.
Well, I'm assuming that you're doing well in other news, in other aspects that I don't know.
Yes. All right. So we're gonna have a little discussion. But first, it is time for my opening monologue, which I call.
Hi, this is David Blake.
This is Hope Blake.
I am Ariel Brown Blake, and it's time for the Danialogue.
The Danialogue.
The Danialogue.
Taking care of a home is no easy task, but some chores are.
Yeah, so that is the Danialogue right there. By the way, one of the voices that you did hear was my mother. And I'm actually going to give a little story, right? And it's going to connect, so stay with me. So last year, we played Family Feud. It was at like a youth night at a church, and we played Family Feud. So it was my immediate family, me, my brother David, who you also heard in the Danialogue, my father and my mother. By the way, my father was sleeping during the time of recording the Danialogue intro, so that's why you don't hear him. So sorry, Dave. But yeah, so we played and we beat two families, right? And then me and David won the fast money, and then we won what we did win again? I think we did win a little money or something, but we won, right? So during the competition, though, my mother was giving some how do I say this? She wasn't giving the best of answers. I don't remember some of the questions, but some of the answers, it was just really bad. And when you're actually watching the game show Family Feud and the whole crowd laughing and the host laughing at you because them know say is a bad answer. Yeah. So my mother had given like maybe 2 or 3 of those type of answers, and everybody was laughing and giggling. No, to be very honest with you, if another family member was there and I could have substituted my mother, I would have done that.
That's not good, sir.
No.
Not good at all.
Mommy,
your voice sounds very well. I like your voice, mommy.
yeah, her voice could have sounded better a little more. The answers that she gave almost made us lose, right? And I love my mother very much. I love her to death.
I believe you.
One of my favorite people ever. But if another family member was there, a cousin, an uncle, or auntie, if I was given that option, I would have taken my mother off because I really wanted to win.
So you don't like to be on the losing team then? That's what you're saying.
I hate losing.
Oh.
No one should enjoy losing. Yes, losing is a part of life, but you shouldn't enjoy losing. So it don't matter the sentiment. I love my mother so much, but
You love her so much that you're willing to substitute her to keep winning.
There we go. And here is where everything comes into place now. So Theodore Tapper Whitmore is an absolute football legend. What he did during the 98 campaign and what he actually did at the World Cup, we will never forget it. I was, how old was I? I was 4 at the time. So I don't even remember seeing the match live.
I remembered.
Yeah, you're a little older than me. But I remember like over the years just going back on YouTube and watching that match against Japan and seeing those goals. And I was just like, wow, Tapper is a real legend. And what he has done for our football will never be forgotten, right? And even during some spells as coach, in his first spell, he did all right. And then in his second spell, took us to the 2017 Gold Cup final and was kind of unfortunate not to win, but he's a legend, right? But that does not excuse him from losing his job. So there are a lot of people, especially football administrators, people in charge of some clubs and some associations, saying that you mustn't fire Tapper. Tapper is a legend. Tapper has done so much. Give him a chance. Well, he's been given a chance over and over again, and he hasn't quite produced. Yes, he may have one of the best records the Reggae Boys has ever seen, but when you actually break it down, if people want to do that for themselves, you can Google and, if you want to WhatsApp me, I can send you a link to, see all of those things. But a lot of his wins in the second spell when he was rehired in 2016, a lot of those wins came against Antigua and Barbuda, Guyana, Barbados, St. Vincent, Minos of the Caribbean.
So these are sides that rank below Jamaica in the
FIFA very,
ranking.
Very far below. And I'm not saying that those wins don't count because you have to beat what's in front of you. Because if he never win those games, people would have want him fired from a long time. But what I'm saying to you is that when it has come to the big stage, especially over the last, I would say, 2 years, he hasn't produced. In our last 16 games, we've only won 4 of those games. Of those 4 wins,
so that's 25% winning. That's roughly 25%.
You tell me. I'm not working out no matter. I just know, say he win 4 out of the last 16 games. Those wins, Suriname. You didn't know Suriname play football? All right, you never know.
No, I didn't.
You didn't know Guadeloupe play football?
And what else is there?
And then there's Saudi Arabia, which not too bad.
And Honduras the other day, right?
And Honduras.
Yeah.
So 4 out of 16. That's the last 16. And out of his 57 games, he's only won 27 of those games.
Okay, so that's less than 50%.
So when you think about that, and knowing that we were playing in the CONCACAF Nations League against a lot of the minnows of the Caribbean, his record will look good because Jamaica, essentially, knowing how highly we rate Jamaica, they should not have been there.
Okay.
So it's unfortunate where we are currently in World Cup qualifying. We've only won one game. It's going to take a monumental task to get back to where we need to be or to even qualify for the World Cup. And unfortunately, as much of a legend as Tapa is, if we want to be competitive, this is a good decision. Similarly to I wanting to get rid of my mother off the team because I want to win, as much as I love my mother, I know that I have a better, I'm going to risk it and see what else is out there. So my mother did prove that she couldn't do it. So I would take that risk with somebody else.
Well, I think she wasn't prepared. I believe that mommy has a lot of potential. I'm really repping for mommy this afternoon.
And you're actually making my point. That's exactly what people have been saying about Tapa.
But Tapa is what you call it now. If he was coaching, say for example, my team, which is the Premier League team, which is Chelsea, he would have been gone a long time ago. Definitely, because we have a track record of sacking coaches, and the more we sack these coaches, we keep getting results. You know, it works for us. But I'm thinking Jamaica on this point. I'm thinking the timing is a little bit off. He should have been sacked maybe like 4 matches prior to now.
All right. So that is one of the things.
I think he should have been sacked from when we lost at the stadium. Who did we
against
play? Costa Rica? Was it Costa Rica?
It was against Panama. That first heavy defeat, and then we drew against Costa Rica. There were talks that he was going to get the sack from there, but they eventually kept him on. And now he's unbeaten in the last, 4 games? So the timing is a bit off because it seems like we're picking up a bit of a momentum, even though mathematically it's still going to be extremely difficult and we still have USA.
So what's the point of sacking him now? Is it that we're sacking him with the hope of qualifying for the campaign or for the team?
We still have a chance. So if we win our remaining games,
all our games,
very likely we'll at least maybe finish fourth and go into that playoff and qualify. But just my main point is that thank you, Tapa, for all that you have done for the country. I'm not trying to be disrespectful at all or anything. What you have done is very credible. You came in 2016. You made our team stable again. You carried us to the Gold Cup final in 2017. You made us hope again. So thank you for that. However, the last year and a half, things haven't gone as well as it should have. And unfortunately, this is the business. So, all the best in your future endeavors. Yes. We hope to see you, coaching some other team, maybe a local team, maybe another Caribbean team. Who knows? So we wish you the best. And we hope that Paul Hall, who is the interim head coach, will come in and add some credibility. And hopefully, some miracle will happen.
I'm hoping so too. We have some great players, so we're assuming that things will go well.
I'm hoping so
for the remaining games.
All right, so we are going to head into a break, and when we come back, I'll be joined by Brian Pitter and Damian Gordon.
Taking care of a home is no task, but some are more dreaded than others. What if doing the laundry didn't have to be? Laundry day is a breeze with Speed Queen. Purchase any Queen washer or dryer at Singer from November 3rd to December 31st. You could get refunded the cost of your purchase. 2 lucky winners will be selected on January 6, 2022, based on qualifying purchases at any Singer store island-wide. Shop today to make every laundry day a breeze with Speed Queen and Singer. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting Gaming and Marketing Act.
Stakeholders, items exported temporarily for repairs or for commercial use must first be registered with the Jamaica Customs Agency using an electronic customs declaration EX2 completed by a customs approved agent. Re-imported items which are upgraded, altered, or replaced may attract a customs duty. For customs related matters, you may email public.relations@jca.gov.jm or telephone 876-922-51408. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Watch and listen to win big this Christmas with any digital Prime bundle. Stream all the music you want on D Music. Binge Christmas movies in Play Go. Watch NBA games in Sportsmax, all while on the go, without using your any use data. Enter to win grand prizes of $500,000, a brand new Samsung TV with an entertainment system, or 1-year free service with a Samsung Note 20 Ultra. Buy a 7-day Prime bundle for $850 today. Digicel. Better together this Christmas. Visit digiceljamaica.com for terms and conditions. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming and Lotteries Act. Promotion valid November 19, 2021 to January 13, 2022.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated with your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Welcome back to Sports Talk here on the family station, Love 101. I'm Daniel Blake, and we have been discussing so far in the opening start of the show about Theodore Tapper Whitmore sacking, and I'm now joined by two very experienced journalists, Damian Gordon, veteran sports journalist, and Brian Pitt, another sports journalist who works with 876 Stream. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. Thank you very much for having me, Blake.
All right, so Damon, I want to start with you. I guess it's not a surprise that Tapper lost his job, but as we mentioned a little earlier, do you think that the timing is a bit off?
No, I don't think so, Daniel. Remember when you and I appeared on CVM back in November, I did say that I wouldn't be surprised if the Jamaica Football Federation took the decision to bring the axe down on Tapper Whitmore. Having spoken to hierarchies within the Federation following that 1-1 draw against the United States, I get the fact that they were very displeased, and there were meetings that had happened behind closed doors. Information, not privy to the public that I was aware of, that the Federation were pretty much onto Tapper Whitmore. In that game, he needed it to save himself. So I think the team really hasn't been looking the part. I was not convinced even before a ball was kicked. A friend of mine, Headley Thompson, could tell you that I thought we'd have missed out on qualification, and I still believe we will. But the new coach bump certainly will bring maybe a different impetus. Paul Hall might have a different way of thinking from Tapper Whitmore. We hope he does. But certainly, I'm not in the least bit surprised, because the team just didn't look as if they were going to really get out of that gear.
Yeah, and Brian, I know that there have been a lot of conversations, especially by those higher up in power. I even saw somebody like Harborview General Manager Clyde Juridini saying that this is the wrong decision. Do you think that this sacking is justified, especially seeing though that now he seems to be getting a bit of a momentum? So even though, me and Damon, we have our different views, looking at it from your point of view, do you think that his sacking was justified?
Yeah, and also, Carvel Stewart, of the CASAFA also said, this was coming from back in 2018, that the JFF wanted to fire him from then. But, Whether it's justified or not, I've always maintained my stance, saying that sacking Tapa right now, I don't think would be the right decision, especially as you just said, with the momentum that we have going into the next 6 games. I think we should have stayed with him, allowed the team that is now gelling to go into those games with the attitude that they have now and see what we can do. I'm not really convinced that Paul Hall can do a very different job from Tapa Whitmore, given the fact that he was on the same staff as him. I do know that the players do have a better relationship with Paul Hall, so hopefully, some sense of camaraderie can help the team to get the results that we need.
Yeah, I do want to talk about Paul Hall very soon, but Brian, you mentioned the fact that it doesn't make sense right now. Damien, does this show up the JFF in a sense that a decision like this probably should have come much earlier, and now the fact that they do it in the middle of a campaign, especially with him, getting some momentum as we saw, do you think that this is, poor management again by the JFF, because they seem to be making some ill-timed decisions and some decisions that we do question?
Well, I don't think it's a hidden secret that this federation could not think its way out of a wet paper bag. But the fact is, I don't think that sacking Tapa at this point is a bad decision. I don't know what momentum Brian is talking about, but I don't think that the team had built up any momentum. Right now, I don't mix up movement with progress, because we're still jogging on the spot like a rocking horse. We haven't really moved into a position of qualification just yet. So I don't think that you can really blame the federation for bringing the axe down on Tapa. But it does show, though, given how this execution was rather botched, if you ask me, the federation is showing again its ineptitude. I don't think that the federation, being led by Michael Ricketts and Mr. Wint, is showing that it's a group of people who know what they're doing. Unfortunately, you have somebody like Rudolph Speed who is there, who I have a lot of respect for. I have a lot of time for Rudolph Speed. I think he knows what he's doing, but I don't think that this one was carried out in the best manner. There were times when we were uncertain. Was he fired? Is he still there? We don't know. And eventually, the event inevitable comes out. But I don't think that, the execution wasn't great, but I think it's the right decision that they've taken to sack Tapa.
Yeah, and I think, and I want to ask both of you this, because I think that in 2017, when we had gone to the Gold Cup final, as I mentioned earlier, we started to hope again, because Tapa had used a lot of the local born players, and we were thinking, all right, this is somewhere that we can start from, because Winfred Schaefer, he went completely left by fully trusting the UK-based players, and it didn't work out. So when Tapa did that, we were like, all right, there's a chance. But do you think that the expectations started to change when we were bringing in these Premier League and English Championship players? And then do you think then that him probably trusting some of his old guard, like somebody like Javon Watson, do you think then that he wasn't able to find that balance that we usually talk about between the UK born players and the locally born players?
Of course, and I'll give Brian a chance to jump in and chime in a little bit. But of course, I think that Tapa had gotten too sentimental. Understandable, because we're all human beings. But with so many quality players at his disposal, I think he was really tied to the old guard, because Javon Watson really shouldn't have been in this team. He's nowhere near ready to play at this level right now. I mean, we could have shaken his hand and say thank you for your service. There was a time when he was an asset to this team. Now he's a liability, and I'm almost certain if it is that Paul Hall comes in and decide to go in the right direction, not just a different direction, but the right direction, I think Javon Watson might find himself out of the squad or even on the bench at best. But right now we have the quality players. As to whether Paul Hall can come in and manage the egos, if there are any in the dressing room, manage the personalities, for want of a better term, and really put the talents out there that we know that we have in this squad to play on the front foot, to play with a little bit more panache and possession game, to really move the opponent around. I think, we could start to see something different. And just to jump quickly when we saw they sacked Ole, I know we're going to get to Premier League. They sacked Ole. They had Michael Carrick there for 3 games, and he kept a clean sheet in that time more than Ole had done in all the times that he was in charge for the 3 years. So let's hope that we can see a little bump here from Paul Hall, and we'll be in for the running.
Brian?
Yeah, Damien said something really important. Can Paul Hall manage the egos? I think eventually Tapper became a victim of the Premier League stars coming into the team, and he said it himself. He didn't really have a good relationship with the UK-based players. So obviously he made that public that there was sort of a discontent amongst the camp already. Perhaps that we, from the outside looking in, we can make that assessment. So was he able to manage the team, or people question his man management skills? Was that good enough? I think that's where he fell down, and ultimately he lost the confidence of the team in the end.
Yeah. When we look at Tapper, from his interviews, from the sidelines, he doesn't seem to be that emotive, yet he still sort of has some of the respect of the players. But do you think that his kind of nonchalantness, the way he presents himself to the media, the way that he presents himself on the sidelines, do you think that it created sort of this perspective that maybe he doesn't care all that much, or should he have been, more out there, maybe like some of the other international managers that we know are some of the club managers that will get the fans on their side. So even when they do lose, we can say, oh, he has that personality, so he actually wants us to win. But a lot of the comments that comes from Tapper and his whole body language is just like, oh, we're feeling down and how we're going to get through this. Do you think that he could have done better with how he approached his whole body language, his personality, how he interacted with the media?
I definitely think so. He has this, for want of a better term, a stoic personality. He never gives anything away, and I think it's always difficult to win over the fans if the team is not playing well, because Tapper, that we know as a player, was a fantastic player. It's a matter of him being able to transfer his ideas to those players and have them almost play in the same mold. But he wasn't able to do that. And I think that in and of itself allowed the fans to grow a little bit more impatient as time goes along. And Tapper was not able to turn the performances around. And as you said, he's not a personality on the sideline. You do see teams, especially globally, when they're struggling, of course, the fans rally behind the coach. Antonio Conte is the kind of guy. He always has that personality on the sideline, and you almost fall in love with him and almost exercise patience with him when things are not going right. And Tapper, he would shy away from the media. And I think that in and of itself rubs off in a way as how he carries himself with the players. He's not very confident, it seems, to express himself. And so he has this inability and maybe a block to transfer his thoughts to the players, and his ability to communicate is not very great. And so maybe his ideas are in his head, but he just can't articulate them well enough.
Brian?
Yeah, personally, I can deal with a coach or a manager who is a bit quiet on the sidelines. For me, what matters is tactical awareness, his ability to get his team to perform at a level perhaps that is superior to the quality of the team. But yeah, he could have done better with speaking with the media. But as Damon says, we have questions about his temperament. Is he able to articulate himself in a way where he can translate what he wants to say, and sometimes the words that comes out of his mouth get misinterpreted. So maybe he was afraid of that. But for me, I think he fell down tactically, especially during his in-game substitutions when we had that opportunity to either hold out the victory or to go after the game. Some of the changes that he made, or the lack thereof, is very, very, very questionable.
All right, so we are going to talk about where the team goes from here a little bit more with Paul Hall. And for the viewers and the listeners, we will be reading some of your comments, but we're going to go into a short break, and we'll be right back.
Yo, what's your new Wi-Fi password? Just scan the code. Yo, your net a move fast. You mean fiber fast with Flow? I upgraded and can stream class, video call mommy, and surf online with ease now.
With over $200 million invested over the past 3 years, Flow continues to improve access to the internet island-wide. Over 240 communities got connected to the fiber-fast experience in 2021 with more to come. Join the Flow family to stay connected to your progress on Jamaica's largest network.
This Christmas, Hope Rocks has got something real special for you. It's going to be loads of fun. Saturday, December 18, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Don't miss a Zoom party pre-show with DJ Rebirth. Sign up to be a part of the Zoom party pre-show. Love 101 staff members will be on show. Guest artists and performers, live band, and lots of prizes and surprises. Hope Rocks Christmas 101. Come home. Saturday, December 18, beginning at 5 p.m. Oh, it's going to be a whole heap of fun. You can't afford to miss it.
Rent, groceries, car repairs, school fees, bills. You have 100 things you need money to do. Well, Singer and Frigidaire want you to have 100 to do them all. Shop at Singer from October 29 to December 31 and purchase any Frigidaire item valuing $25,000 or more, and you could be one of 20 winners of $100,000. $2 million in prizes. Grand draw January 6, 2022. One winner per store, and it could be you. Conditions apply. See the press or Singer online for details. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on Love 101. I am Daniel Blake. I am still with Damian Gordon and Brian Pitter, both sports journalists. Remember that you can leave your comments on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125. That's 876-997-3125. You can tell us what you think about Theodore Tupper Whitmore getting sacked. Do you think it was too late, the right time? Where do we go from here? So let me just read some of those comments and messages before I get back to Damian and Brian. So Sheldon, he says, we hold on too tightly to the fantasy of the 98 World Cup campaign. Time for a new look. Avia says it is bad timing. Not sure how it will help them in the short term. Jerome says should have been gone from the second FIFA window. Dwayne says JFF couldn't fire themselves, and that's never going to happen. Kevoy says took too long, should have been earlier, so that the new coach has a better chance. Kathia says I think it's the right decision. Tapa for me lacked vision and most times just seemed as if he was winging it. Rashida says the right decision at the wrong time. Tiffany says the JFF needs a cleanse. We cannot be using the same system, fail, and come with the same thing. It's madness. JFF is working off of sentimentality and links. We have too much talent in Jamaican football to struggle the way we have been. And Sidon says that Tapa also contradicted himself on a few occasions. One key statement from him was Watson has been recalled to provide cover for Anthony Grant in midfield in case of injury or fatigue. However, we saw Watson become a regular starter following that statement. The sacking should have come earlier. At this point, it gives Hall a free run. He literally has nothing to lose here since he has since he got the job in this state. And Damian Brand still with me. Speaking of Paul Hall, he has been named interim manager. I am someone who believes that you should start fresh. Paul Hall, we've been told, has had some influence, maybe even more than the previous assistant coach, Jerome Waite. So I'm someone who believes in starting fresh, but the JFF has given him this interim role. What do you think about them making that decision? And, you know, what kind of difference do you think he'll make?
Well, I think from a neutral's perspective, and just to borrow a cricketing term, it's almost as if, Tapa ran in and bowled a no ball, and Paul Hall is the batsman now, so he has a free hit. I think from here on, it's a case where he can do very little wrong. We hope that it doesn't go pear-shaped from here. We hope that we can see that new coach bump. But I do believe, and you mentioned that he has more influence than the previous assistant coach, and there's no doubt about that, because Tapa had long wanted Jerome Wake to be sacked. But, I think that being the assistant, you're there to assist and not to insist. And now he's the one making the final decision. Previously, I think that he might have suggested to Tapa, and Tapa might say, try to convince him that, no, I think Daniel is the man. And he might say, well, I think that you should have gone with Damien. Being the head coach, you have the final say. And I think now the buck stops with Paul Hall. I think the team will play differently. I think you will see a little bit more progression in how the team gets out from defense into attack. And I'd be very, very surprised if he still goes with the same personnel and expect a different result. But I expect change. I really do. And Paul Hall is exposed to a better system in England. And I expect to see a little of that when he takes charge. And this, it's never too late to do the right thing. And, some might disagree with the timing of it, but I think it's the right call. And he now has a few weeks before we now take on Mexico. And hopefully he gets it right.
Yeah, Brian, sorry, Brian, not to cut you off, but I do want to jump on what Damien just said, because Paul Hall is currently with QPR, which means that he's going to have his eyes both on QPR and the Reggae Boys. And at this point, we need as much attention as possible. Do you think that he will end up getting distracted and probably just stick with what he knows from what has happened previously? Or do you think that he should, probably tell QPR, just give me some time, and then after the World Cup qualifying campaign, I'll be back? Because you, in this position, you do want your head coach to have your full attention.
Right. And this will be a test of his true capabilities. I mean, he would have accepted the position knowing that he would have had to focus on both jobs, and it's not something that we haven't seen before in international football. I know I see Damien is a Chelsea fan. I'm a Chelsea fan. Goose sitting,
unfortunately.
He was managing the Dutch national team at the time when he was interim manager at Chelsea. We've seen other examples of that. So whether Paul Hall can handle that responsibility, we'll see. He definitely has more experience than Theodore Whitmore, internationally as well, under 23 coach at QPR. So I'll be interested to see how he handles both, but I don't necessarily see that as a defining factor in how it will play out as it relates to how he will approach the national team.
Well, actually, if memory serves me right, he was that's Gus Hiddink. And when he was brought in temporarily, he was managing Russia. And then I think Chelsea had won the FA Cup that year. But then that same year, Russia had lost some crucial games and didn't qualify for the World Cup. So hopefully things go bad with hopefully things go bad with QPR and not with us. Damien, we've heard your namesake, Damien Lowe, Leon Bailey, among other players, really defending Tapa in the media. Now that he's gone and Paul Hall comes in, what do you think will be their reaction? Do you think that, there's going to be a bit of animosity, knowing that Tapa was someone who they have known for the last maybe 4 or 5 years? Or do you think that they'll be professional and just move on with it?
Well, that is what you hope. You hope the latter is true in the end, but it's understandable that when a coach moves on, you have players who will come out in the media and the public and say thank you in some way shape, or form. If that hadn't happened, then of course there'll be more rumors that, well, it must be that they wanted him gone long ago. So there are some players who are going to have some kind of fealty to the former coach, and we thank Tapper, and I'm hoping that the players would understand. For those who respect and love Tapper, would understand that this is a professional situation. You can't get too sentimental. You have to move on, and it's about balancing the emotions and respecting the man who has now been elevated to that position, and respect the decisions that he make, and just come out and be a professional. We hope, though, that we know that Damien Lowe can be a real antagonist, and we hope that he doesn't find a way to disrupt from behind the scene. Leon Bailey, we hope, will strap his boots on and give us the very best version of him yet, because we really haven't seen the best of Leon Bailey in a national shirt. Let's see if Paul Hall can unlock his potential that we've seen at the club level. And so that will only happen with a change of personnel, a tweaking of the system as well. And if that happens and the players start to win, if we were to beat Mexico, trust me, as storied as Tapper, of course, is a golden thread in the tapestry of Jamaica's football. If we were to beat Mexico, he's going to be the forgotten man.
Brian?
Yeah, I agree 100%. But I don't really take some of the quotes that the players come out in the media. I don't really take them seriously. Of course, being amongst the players, not sure if you'd hear certain things in the camp, and of course, it is oftentimes contrary to what they come out and say in the media. But they have to look forward now. They have to approach these next few qualifiers and forget about what has happened in the past and just work with Paul Hall to ensure that we can actually salvage the opportunity that we have, this very slim opportunity that we have to qualify for Qatar 2022.
All right. We are about 3 minutes away from our final break. JFF President Michael Ricketts on another platform said that if Jamaica doesn't qualify for the World Cup, it won't be an X on the JFF's report card. I want to ask this question. I think I already know the answer, but just so that the listeners can hear, if we don't qualify for the World Cup, should Michael Ricketts, Bruce Gaynor, Dalton Winton, the entire everybody who is involved in the decision making there, do you think that they should do the creditable thing and resign?
No, my answer is no. I think if it is that's the standard by which you're going to judge the administration, then previous administrations would have had to resign too, and would have had a rapid turnover of administrations in the past, because since 1998 we haven't gone back to the global stage, and so I don't think that this can be the be all and end all by which you judge a federation. What we need to see is a change and a renaissance of Jamaica's football in terms of what we are doing in terms of at the grassroots level. What are the plans of the JFF to help the parish associations? Because whether we like it or not, it's the parish associations that will help to really lift the sport in Jamaica, because the JFF is really just a guiding hand of Jamaica's football. It's a clubs that we want to see better structure in place and helping to develop the players, because beyond that the JFF can really do nothing. And there was a time when the national coach would come in, and previous to when we made that run to the Gold Cup finals a few years ago, Tapper had a good core of local-based players to come in and supplement those that were brought in from overseas, the washed-up players, if you want to call it that, from overseas, because a lot of them could make their chosen countries and then look back to the Reggae Boys as a rock back option. But the JFF, I don't think that if they were to fail to get this team to the World Cup, that you can really say, this is the one blemish that means that they should pack their bags and go. However, so far they've shown that they're not really capable, and I think that now will make it even worse. People call for their heads, but no, I don't think that this should be them resigning if the team doesn't qualify.
Brian?
Yeah, I wouldn't call for their heads just yet either, but I don't agree with Mr. Ricketts that they should not be blamed. I think they're very much culpable, just as much as Theodore Whitmore, for where the team are right now. I feel like it's been over the past few years a bit of hit and miss, and sometimes they'd score by winning the Caribbean Cup a couple of years ago, or if you want to call reaching the Gold Cup finals a score, then they'd see those things and say, yes, we're actually doing something here. Let's feel good about it. But in theory, we're not. And yes, we do need to focus more on the grassroots level. What is happening with our young players? What are we teaching them? And why are so many of our young players not matriculating into the national team? Why are so many going overseas and disappearing from the scene and not fulfilling their potential that we've seen? The Alex Marshalls, the Shamar Jennisons, the Mackison from KC, those players, what happened to them? Why haven't we developed them and turned them into national players that can go on to represent our country and actually do good? But there's a lot more to it than just the JFF being incompetent right now. So I wouldn't call for their heads just yet.
All right, so we are about to head into another break. Brian and Damon will still be with me. The year is almost done. So we're going to look back at some of the major footballing achievements and topics that have happened through the years. So Sports Talk, still live right here on Love 101, and we'll be right back.
The world is full of job opportunities locally and overseas. Let us bring them to you. Register now at Distinction College, located at 26 Huggett Park Road, Kingston, 6 Nugent Street, Spanish Town, and Ocho Rios. In 2 to 3 months, earn local and international certificates in housekeeping, food and beverage, food preparation, receptionist, and customer service. Qualified hotels, cruise ships, restaurants, and businesses worldwide. No subjects required, no age limits, no entrance test. Day, evening, and Saturday classes begin very soon at low school fees, easy and flexible payment plans. Call us 356-41.
The Ministry of Health and Wellness invites members of the public to attend the vaccination site Saturday, December 11, Sunday, December 12, to receive their first or second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine or the single dose of Johnson & Johnson for persons 18 years and older. Jamaicans 12 years and older will also be offered the first or second dose of the Pfizer vaccine. Here are the sites for Saturday, December 11. Kingston and St. Andrew, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Dehaney Park and Harborview Health Centers. Gainstead High School. AIDS Healthcare Foundation, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. In St. Catherine, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. St. Jago Park Health Center. Linstead Anglican Church, Greater Portmore Health Center, Old Harbour Bay Fishing Village, Reed's Pen Community Center, and at Vin's Pharmacy, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. In Trelawney, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., Falmouth, Rio Bueno, and Albert Town Health Centers. In Westmoreland, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m., Savannah Lamar, Darlaston, and White House Health Centers. Royal Medical Center from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. and South Central Medical Center, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. In St. James, Montego Bay Comprehensive Health Center, Type 5, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. In St. Anne, Madras Primary School, 9 a.m. to 12 noon. Gibraltar Baptist Church, 1 p.m. to 4 p.m. Hanover, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Lucy Health Center. St. Elizabeth, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. Black River and Santa Cruz Health Centers. Clarendon, 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. Longville Park Plaza. Persons should take their vaccination card, a government-issued ID, or letter from a justice of the peace to the sites. Let's get vaccinated and get back to life.
Open up the Sunday time of the year. Flow up and spread the Christmas cheer. To everybody whether far or near. Flow make a Christmas sparkle around here.
Get amazing gifts when you activate a 5-day or higher unlimited data plan or add your mobile to your home internet. Check your text messages and click the link to open up your gift. From LTE tablets, supermarket vouchers, smartwatches, TVs, and much more. Get a gift every time.
Christmas comes alive. Look for your gift, them must arrive. Open your women's and it's our mobile plans and a Christmas gift text dropping iron. Christmas have a sparkle, you know? Make it happen with Flow.
Conditions apply.
Authorized under Section 58(3) of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Taking care of a home is no easy task, but some chores are more dreaded than others. What if doing the laundry didn't have to be? Laundry day is a breeze with Speed Queen. Purchase any Speed Queen washer or dryer at Singer from November 3rd to December 31st, and you could get refunded refunded the cost of your purchase. 2 lucky winners will be selected on January 6, 2022, based on qualifying purchases at any Singer store island-wide. Shop today to make every laundry day a breeze with Speed Queen and Singer. Authorized under Section 58 of the Betting, Gaming, and Lotteries Act.
Welcome back to Sports Talk right here on the family station Love 101. Remember, Sports Talk is brought to you by Jamaica Customs Agency, Country Above Self, and Accountant General's Department. Service with excellence, touching the life of every Jamaican. I'm still here with two top sports journalists, Damian Gordon and Brian Pitter. We do have around 9 minutes or so. Unfortunately, I am talking to two Chelsea fans who did win the, well, I have an ex-Chelsea fan in here, but two right here on the stream who won the Champions League this year. Gentlemen, what did you make of the overall achievement, especially knowing maybe 5-6 months before Frank Lampard just seemed to be out of his depth. Thomas Tuchel comes in and you guys pull off the impossible. What did you make of that overall achievement compared to maybe other Champions League winning teams?
I think this one was a bittersweet one for Chelsea fans and yours truly in particular. I would have loved to see a legend in Frank Lampard coming back and taking us to the ultimate prize, but it wasn't to be, and he ran out of ideas, midway through his tenure. I think that Thomas Tuchel, it wasn't a big surprise the way he came in and get the team to play. What I was surprised with was the fact that we ultimately went on to win the Champions League. But this is a coach who, from Dortmund to PSG, we know that he's a shrewd tactician. He has a certain idea and he's able to transfer that to the players, and they're able to go out there and execute in the way he tends to want them to. And so it was nice to see that, he was able to come in and really just give the players a lift. Rudiger and others like him who had seen that, their careers were coming to an end under Frank Lampard, Alonso, he just seemed to give them a second lease on life. And the players trusted his tactics. They trusted everything that he wanted them to do. And they went out there and played for him. I was pretty surprised, but I'm pleasantly surprised in the end that Chelsea went on to win the Champions League. But I'm a happy bloke.
Yeah, same. It wasn't as good as the last one. I can tell you that. I cried when Drogba scored the penalty. But for this one, it was a bit weird for me. I think the formula for us winning the Champions League is sacking the manager midway through the season and bringing in someone else, because he sacked Andre Villas-Boas and then Di Matteo came in and we ended up winning, and same thing with Lampard. But Tuchel was able to show his class, especially against Real Madrid, where I actually feared, Karim Benzema was on form. He ended up scoring against us. So I was a bit surprised then that we were able to outplay Real Madrid, even though they weren't in their best of forms. But we did actually have that victory. I was very confident that we beat Manchester City in the finals. Pep Guardiola is a failure when it comes on the Champions League without Messi, so I wasn't scared at all.
All right, so basically what you guys are saying is that when you sack a manager in the middle of a campaign, you can go on to achieve great things. So hopefully Paul Hall sees that amount of success. Brian, you did mention Lionel Messi there. Finally won an international title with Argentina, and, great for him winning that Copa America. I'm not a huge fan of subjective awards, Brian and Damian. But do you think that Messi deserved to win the Ballon d'Or, for those who don't know, which is the male player of the year? Do you think he truly deserved that, or should it have gone to, Robert Lewandowski, who was doing amazing things at Bayern? Maybe two of your players, Jorginho and Kante. Do you think that this one was a justified decision for Messi to be given that?
Go ahead, man.
Go ahead. Well, go ahead, Brian. Go ahead.
All right. No, so this is a very controversial topic, and it has been. The Ballon d'Or is not new to pulling up surprises like this. Of course, it's 170 journalists, so different opinions. Going back from when Pavel Nedved defeated Thierry Henry in 2003, which was probably the biggest robbery. Ribéry not winning in 2013. So we have had our fair share over the years of controversial decisions, but this year, as much I can publicly state that I am a Ronaldo fan, and I can be biased right now. I do prefer Ronaldo, but it's not a debate between Ronaldo and Messi. Messi had a wonderful year. He led Barcelona. He literally carried Barcelona on his back, scoring 46 goals in a Ronald Koeman team. He scored 4 goals, recorded 3 assists, top goal scorer in Copa America. So it's not far-fetched. As much as I'd love to say that he didn't deserve it, to say that he did not is probably a wrong opinion.
Yeah, I mean, let me just chime in there. Good points raised there, Brian. But the fact is that I don't think it was a cut and dry situation where you can say Lewandowski overwhelmingly deserved to win the Ballon d'Or. He had a fantastic season with Bayern Munich, but he never won the Champions League. He never did anything with Poland. And so despite him being a goal-scoring machine for a very good Bayern Munich team who are playing against themselves pretty much, week in, week out, I could understand why, people, might think that he should have won it. But no, I think that based on what Messi achieved at the international level and the amount of goals he scored with Barcelona, and looking at what Barcelona has descended into since his departure, you can understand why, people would have gone out and vote for Lionel Messi. But there is also this love affair with Lionel Messi, given his stature in the game. So if it's going to be close, he's going to win it. It had to be a cut and dry decision that is so far, that Lewandowski, you can't help but vote for him. And then, and only then, I think that he would have won it. But the fact that Messi did that with, Argentina winning the Copa and then doing so well with Barcelona, it was going to be tough. I think that it would have been easier to make a better case for Jorginho, given what he won, Euros and then the Champions League and that kind of stuff, and was a pivotal, vital cog in the wheel to both Chelsea and Italy. I think he had a better shot in my book, and that's not a sentimental decision, being a Chelsea fan.
All right, we have less than 2 minutes. So I want your answers in less than a minute each. The Premier League right now, probably the most exciting that we have seen in quite a while. Defending champions Manchester City currently leading the table, Liverpool and Chelsea right there. The race for 4th spot is pretty hot. Even the relegation fight right now is also exciting. What are your predictions going into the new year, where you see a lot of these teams currently finishing?
Wow, let me take that one quickly. Chelsea have a terrible run of fixtures coming up, and Manchester City, Liverpool, Aston Villa, Leicester, all of these teams are lined up. Tottenham to face Chelsea at the turn of the new year. And right now, they're looking a little bit, leggy and running out of ideas. And I think that I see Liverpool going on to win the Premier League title. I've seen Manchester City huff and puff quite a few times. I don't know if when Mohamed Salah and Mane goes for the AFCON Championship in February, how that will affect Liverpool. But I think Liverpool do, to me, have enough to go on and win. Chelsea, maybe third.
Yeah, I wouldn't say third. I'd probably say second. I'd agree. It's what I can point out is that most of our goals come from defenders. We've been very, very not convincing up front, and I think that would come to bite us through like when we reach April, May, thereabout. And I think we'll lose out to Liverpool. Actually, Liverpool look to be really, really good right now, and I think they can continue that momentum and actually win the league.
All right, thank you so much, Damien and Brian, for joining me. Certainly won't be the last time. Wishing you all the best. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year when it comes.
Thank you. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Brian. And we'll talk again. And a very happy holidays to your listeners and viewers.
For sure. Thanks, guys. Happy holidays.
All right, so that was Damien Gordon and Brian Pitter, sports journalists. Unfortunately, that run off quick. That is the end of Sports Talk for today, December 11th. Thank you so much, everyone who tuned in every possible way, those who watched on Facebook and on YouTube as well. Don't forget That Sports Talk was brought to you by the Jamaica Customs Agency and the Accountant General's Department. On behalf of the entire team, I'm Daniel Blake, and we'll see you next week. Remember to stay tuned to the family station, Love 101.